Yes, guys, today we're doing our Premier League predictions. We're getting them locked in before the season starts, after the Community Shield, even though it's a glorified friendly, but I think it gave us an idea of what we're going to be looking at, I truly believe. And I'm going to give you my predictions, and I'm going to go on a limb on a couple of them, I think, as well. I'm going to go with what I think can happen and what I think might happen, as much as trying to be just too safe. But I've actually not planned anything out, so I'm just going to put them together. Let's see. The one thing I know is I believe Hull are going down. I believe Hull are the first team down. And I think Ipswich will be going with them as well. I know Ipswich spent a little bit of money and they're doing whatever. They're going down. My honest opinion, they are going down. And I think they're going to be partnered in that with Crystal Palace. I think Crystal Palace are going to be the last team to go down. And I think they're like the West Ham. They're kind of, you think they're too good. You only are... I think they go down. I think they're going to get too fixated on Europa League. What's not been good enough for Europa League. And I think that's going to get them relegated. I truly, truly believe that. And in 17th, following them, will be Coventry. I think Coventry are definitely going to be in this fight, but I think they are going to just about survive with pulling away from Palace. And as Palace come out of Europe, I think they'll try to rein that gap in a little bit, because I think Palace will go out early knockout stages. So I reckon they'll try and pull the gap in, but I just think they'll just have enough to survive in there as well. And then following them after there as well, I actually think Fulham. I'm not impressed with Fulham at all. So Fulham in 16th. They might creep anywhere in this category, but I don't see them out of it. I think Fulham, I think they just don't have enough. Like, nowhere near enough. And I think they are below her. Don't buy it. Lost Wilson, lost their manager. Lost their stability, in my opinion. And I think Sunderland in 15th, I think they're going to be there just purely because I think they're going to be fixated on Europe, but still too good. Kind of like what Palace were in the Conference League, just floating around, neither here nor there, but they're still going to be a tricky team, but they're going to have a good little run in Europe, I believe. I think Stadium of Light is going to be a great time. Still called Stadium of Light? But yeah, they're going to have a great time. They're going to really make it an atmosphere in Europe as well. So I'm going to go with them there as well. And then following them after that, who do I believe? I actually think, because I don't know the manager and I'm not convinced on it, in 14th, I'm actually going to put Newcastle. Even though I think Newcastle have got the quality to be in 6th or 7th still. I stand by that. I think they could be the ones nicking on some positions, but I just don't buy the team, don't buy the manager. I think they're lost. They got no identity. Eddie Howe was holding a lot of pieces together, and I would not be surprised if they fall lower in this category there as well. Don't think they'll get relegated, but I think they'll fall in that category. Let's have a look. Who do we think is going to follow them up there as well? Oof, it's a tough one. It is a tough one. I think Bournemouth. I think, again, the European factor. And yes, I am throwing them lower with Europe. But look, Europe makes the top teams drop down out of the top 4 and top 5, top 6. So it could definitely have the weight on a team like this as well. Again, I think Bournemouth are going to have a great run in Europe. I think they're going to have a fun time. I think they're going to have a nice little run. But for me, it's going to hamper their season there as well. Now, who are we going after this? In 12th, I am going to throw Nottingham Forest. I'm not wowed by them. I think they could still do more business. But I think Hutchinson, I think Hudson-Odoi, I think Gibbs-White, I think they've got their centre-back partnership of Murillo and Milenkovic still as well, with other players. Yeah, for me, they've still got just about enough. All right, moving on to 11th. And 11th is where it gets a little techie for me, I'll be dead honest. And I'm going to put this team 11th, but I truly believe they could crack the top 10. And it is Leeds. They've made a few tidy little signings. Picking up Wilson, as mentioned before, from Fulham. They've made some tidy little signings, and I think they became quite solid last year. And again, I won't be surprised if they're down in this relegation fight, like if it all falls apart. But I think they're going to push. I think they're going to go quite big this season. And I think 11th, anything in this category here, but 11th I think is very fair for them as well. And I'm actually going to put Brentford just ahead of them in 10th. I think Brentford are a solid team. I think, again, you never know what you're going to get. But bringing in some solid players, I like their defence as well. And if they add youth to it as well, I think that's absolutely bang on for them. I think, yeah, sat in 10th, absolutely perfect. And I think breaking the top 10 is going to be Everton. I think they're going to finish 9th. I know some of their fans think they're going to finish at Liverpool. I do not. But I think it's possible. I think if the wheels fall off Liverpool early doors, Everton absolutely could, because I think they're going to start that particularly strong. I think they're going to push quite hard. So that is who I'm going. I'm going them there. And then following 8th, I am going to go Aston Villa. I think the Champions League nights are going to be too much. And I think ultimately, with the injuries that they've got, I'm just not convinced. But again, this is Unai Emery, and you're brave to not put them in your top kind of, at least in 7th, if you're not breaking this 6. I do think for the first time in a long time, the big 6 are going to be the big 6. So spoiler, in 7th, I have got Brighton. Brighton's just because I never know what they can do. Brighton could generally fit in absolutely anywhere. But I'm going to go big for Brighton this year for no particular reason. Just I think they're just quite a solid team. And I think they come in like some seasons they're really good. Some teams they're a bit meh. And I think last season they were like, okay, pretty good. Kind of floating around. I think this season they're going to kick on a little bit. And I think they're going to give us a little bit more. So Brighton in 7th. I'm backing them. Now, the big 6 is obviously where it gets interesting and where it gets techie for people. And I'll be dead honest. I feel this in my gut. I feel strong about this. And I think as of right now, 19th of August, when I'm doing this video, they haven't signed anyone. And I think they've got actually pound for pound and across the board, maybe the worst squad out of everyone. Not bad squad, but the worst squad out of everyone. I'm going Liverpool in 6th. And this has nothing to do with being a United fan. I'm actually really always impressed with Liverpool's business. I think if they sign Barcola, someone else who's got the capabilities of playing up front, and maybe another top winger as well, because yeah, they've got a couple of players, and Iraola's capable of working magic. Now, let's be very clear. If they're in the title contention, I would not be surprised. But I'm looking at their defence. Xhaka has injuries as well. Van Dijk isn't the Van Dijk of old. He's now just a regular top defender. Still a top defender, but a regular man now. He'd lost that little bit of aura that he had as well, where he looked unbeatable. And Araujo is about his, he's just like made like a chocolate teapot, and you never know if he's going to be fit or not, and if he's going to withstand it. And I'm not sure the Prem is the place to find out that if you've got your problems. But if he stays fit and Van Dijk's on form, I think that's a great centre-back partnership. Arguably could be the best in the league, and it will change my opinion completely. But as of right now, before Barcola confirmed anything like that, I am going Liverpool in 6th. And I think that is actually going to then be followed. Whew. Now, this is where it's difficult, because any of these teams, including Liverpool, can be anywhere. I truly think that, because I don't know how this season's going to go. Any of these teams could kick on, and I'm including, obviously, Arsenal defending champions, but I'm including any of these can really kick on and do something. I think United need a signing or two away, and I'm not overly convinced on Man United. I think United in my heart could finish 3rd. I'm not convinced on them massively. I think in the confusion of everything, and just because I don't rate Maresca, I think he's just a safety manager in a City team which are built on bravery. 5th. I'm doing it. 5th. Nah, I've got to put Spurs. I've got to put Spurs 5th and them 4th. I can't put Spurs ahead, but I truly think Spurs, no Europe, like United last season. I'm back in De Zerbi. I think they could be in a title race, and that sounds crazy, but clip it. We'll bring the video back up because you're going to see it. When Spurs win the league, I called it. And then I'm going to go United. I think United just have stayed solid. They've kept the kind of base of the team. Obviously lost Casemiro, brought in Tielemans for experience, brought in Santos for a youngster, but we need one more midfielder and a left back, without a doubt, before even considering looking at this or sniffing second, in my opinion. And that's leaving these two. Now, Chelsea, who I could believe could finish anywhere. Arsenal are the safety choice, because Arsenal are the ones where it's like, that's it. They know what they are. We know what they are. Going into this season, they already know where they're going to be at, if not slightly higher with the experience now of winning the league. And they are outright definitely the favourites. But these teams around them could absolutely attack them like you wouldn't believe. And as much as I hate to put Arsenal as champions, I think that's how I rank it. And I think Chelsea are going to take them close. But there is a slight factor of, if Arsenal do not sign an attacker or two, their attack is arguably the worst out of all of these. People could do that, like that comment. And it's because it's a mismatch. And yeah, I think looking at them, that's not thingy. I could easily do that, and I think that could win the league. It could easily be that. That's the beauty of this league. Like, this going into this season, it really is the unknown. And you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say Chelsea are going to do it. But what are your predictions? Which one of these do you disagree with? Which of these do you agree with? Which of these would you change? And also, who do you have to win the league? Where do you think United will finish? Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, all the usual business. I'll see you in the next one.